West Ascension Consolidated Gravel Drainage District meeting, January 10th, 2013. Call to order. Mr. Shakes, now you mind doing the invocation?
Dear Lord, we want to ask that you please allow this rain and this weather to end. Thanks for all the hard work of all the people in the parish, for all that they've done to try to help minimize the problems that were here and help keep water out of people's houses. We'd like to ask that you lend a hand, and everyone else lend a hand to the people whose houses and property were damaged. We'd like to ask that we take this time for these meetings to make good decisions for the people of the parish, and that everyone return home safely. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Everyone is here, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Fairchild, Mr. Redelia, Councilman Shakes, and myself. And if you don't mind, Councilman Shakes, I'd like to add Central Canal, Exhibit A for item number 5.
Move to add Central Canal Exhibit A to the meeting agenda.
Yes, all right, second on that. All in favor? We vote. All right, we got it. Moving on. Item number 3, accepting of the minutes for November the 1st, 2012.
Move to accept.
All right, second. Minutes to accept. Item number 4, contract policy budget approval, Mr. Ronnie Fairchild. Item A, Lower Delta Soil Water Conservation District,
Yes,
2000.
This was all budgeted, in our budget approved. It was on our last agenda in December, which we didn't have a meeting. We just need your approval for the $2,000.
All right, Mr. Shakes,
Move to continue the $2,000 for the soil and water compensation.
All right, second that. So approved. Item B, Enterprise.
Okay, this is for our vehicle leases for 2013, and it'll continue on every year till the leases close out
Okay.
on our vehicles.
Roddy, we continuing the lease program?
Yes,
That's what
yes,
that is?
and we on our equipment and stuff is all going to be leased.
Okay, move to continue that lease.
Mr. Ronnie, on this here, this within our budget for 2013, right?
Yes, it's all approved.
Okay.
Everything's good.
All right, I second that
That's
motion.
it. It's in your package where it's approved.
Okay. Item B approved. Item 5, intergovernmental agreement with East Ascension Consolidated Drainage District number 1 and West Ascension Consolidated Drainage District number 1. And this is for assets. Help. Mr. Ronnie Fairchild?
Right, this agreement, each Ascension has already approved it. This would allow us, if they need our help with our vehicles, manpower, equipment, use it, and we swap out, and vice versa, we can use theirs on request. Got to be in a written request between each company, each district.
Move that agreement.
All right, I second that. All right. On item 5A, Central Canal issue, that issue is central. We moved that. Remember, we moved.
Yeah. Before we get that, Ronnie, I do want to point out we appreciate and Craig and everyone else the cooperation that is given on both sides, because without that, there's a lot of things we couldn't do both ways. So we appreciate, a lot of times you have two entities that work well together. We appreciate that.
Oh, thank you there, Mr. Chase. Item 5A would be Central Canal, and this item is Central Canal, been on this list. It was on and off, but the equipment, this agreement will help us get that equipment, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Ronnie Fairchild, to do the work on it, correct?
Right.
Okay. Also, on Central Canal, I have Ms. Gyro Pat Gyro to speak on that. We had a big rain, and we've been working on this project for a while, but Ms. Gyro had an issue. Another resident on Central Canal had a flooding problem. Ms. Gyro?
Okay, first of all, this property is, I'm sure you're all already familiar with. It's in a 100-year flood zone. I've lived on the property for 27 years. It has never flooded until within the last year. I don't know how many years it's been since that canal has been cleaned, but I know it's been years and years since it's been cleaned. I have maintained, if you look at the sketch on the first page that I gave you, there's a ditch that runs along my property boundary. I have maintained that ditch for all the years that I've lived there. And I also maintained the back property along the canal in an effort just to try to keep my part of it clean. My husband got down in there with chainsaws and swing blades, and, then we'd burn it, and then we'd spray it, and, just everything we could do to keep some of it out and cleaned up because of snakes. I mean, there have been a lot of snakes, more so here in the last year or so, and I'm talking 5-6 foot snakes. My next door neighbor, David Rodrake, to the right-hand side of me, when you're looking at the drawing, killed one in his driveway that was 5 or 6 feet long, and he had one that bit his dog, that killed his dog. It had to be a big snake because it was, well, I won't go into the graphics about the details of the dog, but it had to be a big snake, and within days, my husband shot another very large snake back there. Now, in the meantime, like I said, the property had not flooded in many years. I built the house some years, just a few years after I moved on to the property in my trailer, and then I eliminated the trailer. Some years after that, I built the apartment, what's labeled as the apartment. At the time that I originally built it, it was a shop. It was just a metal metal siding on the exterior, open studs on the interior, concrete floor, typical shop. It was open like that for many years, didn't flood, and so as the years went by, I was at that time married to Ricky Madare. Ricky and I divorced. I bought the house out from him. I decided to convert that shop into an apartment, and invested the time and the money to do so. My daughter, who is Brittany Madare, was currently, and has been for about a year, living in the apartment with her 4-year-old daughter and now 2-week-old daughter. Well, night before last, she knocked on my door at 1 o'clock in the morning and said the apartment is flooded. So, in the rain, in the cold, 1 o'clock in the morning, she goes and gets the 4-year-old, brings her up, puts her in my bed, goes back and gets the newborn, puts her in my bed, goes back, gets the bassinet, diapers, whatever she's got to have. I said, just grab what you got to have to get through the night, and in the early morning we'll deal with this tomorrow. And so we got the kids settled, and we discussed it, and I said, look, the best thing you can do is I'll get off work at noon tomorrow. We'll move you into the big house with me and take it from there, because I can't keep going through this. This apartment flooded a few months back, I would say in the summertime, maybe early to midsummer. It flooded. And my first thought was, well, that's odd. I've lived here for 20 plus years. It's never flooded. And so I just kind of cleaned it up. It didn't flood bad. It just got some of the bedroom damp. It wasn't flooded. And so, we got the shop back and, cleaned it up and aired it out, put fans on it, aired it out for a few days, and she was able to go back in and stay again. Well, then it happened again. And I was thinking, there's something wrong here. I know this building sits a little bit lower than my house, but still I've been there for 27 years. It's never flooded. And so I said, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to call somebody, and I did. I paid somebody to come in and dig 2 trenches, one to the ditch on my side and one to the back canal. And that seemed to correct the problem, but apparently only temporary until the rain that we had the last few days. And this time, if you look at the photo on page not 5, 6, I'm sorry, page 4. This picture was taken this morning. The rain stopped, let up early yesterday, because when I got home around noon, it was not raining, and she and I, now, mind you, she just had a baby 2 weeks ago, and I called everybody I could think of to help us move, and nobody was available to help us, so me and her moved all of the furniture, all of the belongings, all of the everything. We finished about 7 o'clock last night, and it was too late to even think about taking pictures, but I could see during that 7-hour span that the water was starting to drop. And these pictures were taken today, this morning. So a lot of this went down. You can see the canal on the back side of the fence, because this fence actually runs down the right side of my property and then just dog legs just a little bit in front of the canal. And there you can see a little bit of that trench, and I went out and looked at that trench before it got dark, and it absolutely topped. It came over from the canal, because there's debris from the canal in this trench that was not there before. Now, the problem I have, just to kind of add one footnote to this, the real problem I have here is I am now currently separated a year and a half. I decided to put the property up for sale in October. I left it on the market briefly. I took it off during the holidays, and my intent was to put it back on the market in the spring. However, with it flooding a couple of times, and now this time, I don't know enough about mold to know if mold has had enough time to start growing since the summer. My intent was to come in and try to regrade my lot, thinking that would help, but it was the end of the summer, and I didn't want to do it and have mud for the whole, winter months. So I said, well, I'll wait till the spring, get it done, and then put it back on the market. Well, in the meantime, part of the saleability of the house was a mother-in-law apartment in the back, or a man cave, or a pool house, or whatever you wanted to make out of it. It has really hindered my life. It really has hindered my life. And so I realize y'all have been working on this for a very long time, but I don't think it's been being worked on as many years as it has not been cleaned. Maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, this should have been started 15 years ago, or whatever it's been since it last got cleaned.
And I'm sure you're aware of the legal problems we had with this piece of property. In other words, your property stops at the edge of the canal, and then the canal itself is on someone else's property.
Right.
And that's been our biggest problem.
Right.
And we finally, they have that resolved now. And as soon as the weather clears up, and this agreement we just made opens it up, we'll be ready to go in and chip it. We're going to chip it. We're not going to dig anything out. We're going to chip the trees and get all the debris out of the center of the canal and the banks.
Now, it seems to me, because my ex-sister-in-law is Diane Madare, who lives on the same street, and I marked her property on this map as well, because she works here at the courthouse and it's easier for her to attend meetings, she will attend meetings and kind of give everybody in the neighborhood the updates. And it seems to me that she's given us a number of updates where they're fixing to start, they're fixing to start, they're fixing to start. So, with all due respect, I understand we're fixing to start, but...
You heard that before, huh?
Yes. And so, I hope you're right. I hope you're fixing to start.
Yes. That's the next job schedule for the equipment.
And Ms. Gerald, I can tell you, our attorney can say that all our documents have went to the landowner, and we have done everything legally, approved everything. So the only thing is right now is good weather to clean this out. And this should solve that problem because, as you say, that canal have not been cleaned in a while. And all the trees that have in it right now is holding up a lot of debris. So, and as you say, we've been working on it for the last couple of years, but I think we have come to the end of it, that in the next 2 weeks, a week, weather clear up, we'll have a piece of equipment in there to clean that up.
I would like to ask one question. It's my understanding that a property owner does not have the right to, well, and this is a lot of legal, which I've been going through, I know, but I've kind of been under the impression of two facts. One is that when it's a natural flow, a landowner cannot prohibit the cleaning of the drainage. But also, by the same token, I've been under the impression that a landowner does not have the right to neglect or fill in a ditch or whatever the case may be that will cause flooding to another property to the point that it causes property damage without risking retaliation legally.
I have to go to the legal, that,
The second point, let me go to that first. That's a private matter between you and the neighbor.
Right.
The first matter is you cannot block natural drainage, but there's also the issue of putting the equipment, that's again, him blocking. There's also a question of having the servitude to get in there and do it. I mean, we can't go on somebody's property to do the work, and that's been the issue. We have adopted this canal now into our major drainage channels, and we have the equipment to go do it.
So y'all never had servitude to do this?
We've never had servitude on that ditch that I'm aware of.
Ma'am.
That's interesting. Okay.
all right? So,
Well, I will pray for good weather.
all right, Ms. Gyro, thank you for your concern. We will be working. Mr. Shakespeare?
Ronnie, I think the last time was whenever Joe was in there, they had gone through, wasn't the Central Canal was one of them, that's about how long it was?
I think it was in '67, huh, Craig? When it first started, and then over the years, I think it was. We went to that,
Yeah, he went through there with the long reach.
We started, and then we were asked to leave. and,
Yeah.
We tried to go back years later, same situation.
Yeah, I think he got stopped from finishing it, yeah.
You have sued us
Never
twice, I
It was
think.
never completely finished. Yeah.
All right, well, I appreciate your
Okay.
time.
Thank you, Ms. Gyro.
Thank you.
Item 6, to amend the co-op endeavor agreement for management of West Ascension Drainage District.
Yes, that was a proposal in order to get definitive management and get reimbursement for that. We want to amend the agreement as it is now to appoint the parish president as the manager for a sum of $1,000 per month.
Second. No objection? Item moved. Item number 7, master drainage right-of-way coverage. Mr. Ronnie Fairchild?
Okay, we have all our natural drainage system mapped out, labeled, and ready to go to be recorded in the courthouse. But it has to be accepted by the drainage board.
Okay.
And we have to do the advertising, proper advertising.
Okay, do we?
Same situation you had on Central Canal. Got to do the same thing.
Do we have to accept it before you advertise as being,
We got to do the advertising and then bring it, I think we bring it, you accept it and then we bring it and advertise it so that if
Right.
anybody's opposed to it.
Then we have to
You
have a
to
public
accept it,
meeting.
then advertise it.
and then we have to have a public meeting on it,
You
or?
got to have a public hearing on it.
Okay.
Okay, so please tell me, O'Neill,
I think you
the
got to schedule
proper
a public
procedure.
hearing first. You got to advertise it with a public, then which noticing of the public hearing.
Okay. So, so our proposal should be to move forward with public hearing and advertisement of public hearing, so that we can continue on with acceptance?
Yes.
Okay. And Yeah, because we don't accept anything until it's gone through that procedure. Okay. Well, I move that we continue the process that that legal recommended, and that we move to a public hearing at the next meeting so that we can continue to get this accepted so we can do the drainage projects as we were stopped from doing on this one.
I second that. All right. No objection, motion approved. Item number 8, 7th Street drainage problem in the city of Dallasville. We do have a letter, this is in the city of Dallasville. We have been working with that a couple of months ago. We was working on taking video of that drainage issue, of the drainage. We got that back. We're waiting on the city to come back with their recommendation on it. Their engineer, if you have the letter in front of you, their engineer basically reviewed the video and everything, and they said they recommend to hire geotech to have the soil tested because of the sinking of the land. We're at the state of Mr. Ronnie Fairchild, if I'm not mistaken, help me out. We prefer to set up a meeting with the city of Downsonville and their engineer with our engineer to discuss what is best direction to move in this here.
Right.
And then come back with a recommendation from that.
Right.
Okay? All right, I see the mayor is in the audience. You have any problem with that, Mayor? No, sir. All right. So, Ronnie gonna set up there. All right. Item number 9, smoke bin update. Mr. Ronnie Fairchild.
Okay, our new engineer has revised completely the package that we had originally. I spoke with our draft person this week, and she works on it every chance she gets. She's just one, and they are in the process of getting some more draft people, but she's still working on it to get it on paper, get a set of stamp prints.
All right. Item number 10, reports. Mr. George Redelia.
The only thing I have, Mr. Chairman, is I did have a discussion with the Bayou Lafourche Freshwater District on Monday morning. We have not heard back, they have not heard back from the railroad after their divers went into the culverts. I reported that at our last meeting. They checked with the attorney. I was also copied on the email from the district's attorney. They have not heard back from the railroad either. They were in the process of resending them a letter again, the attorney would, asking where we stood on this. They stood on this because they don't have the entry permit, so Freshwater District can't go in and clean the culverts until they get that. So as of Monday, there was no answer, no response from the railroad.
You know, this is one of those catch-22s. Can't do
Absolutely.
anything to fix it because
Absolutely.
they won't let us in. They won't let us in
Absolutely.
to find out. All this drainage stuff, and they talk about liability and everything. Is the railroad not liable to, because they're causing the city, the residences and everything, damages because of they're allowing obstructions to be there or not be fixed? What point in time does the railroad have some type of liability for what the problems they cause?
I would have to know more specific detail to tell you when they're liable and when they're not. It'd have to be a specific claim, like by someone for their damage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the railroad's property. I mean, there's all kind of many laws that come involved because that's a navigable waterway. The state owns the water bottoms. I can't give you an answer on that just like that. I'd have to do some research and tell you that because I don't know who has the damage claims. Water being in the streets, I don't know if that's a claim that would be compensable.
Well, if nothing else, the property values in the whole area and everything from the standpoint of at what point in time does it cause damage to a whole area or a governmental entity from the, let's say, the city or the parish because of lack of property values or lack of, in which ends up being taxes and growth. that's because of this ongoing thing that we're seeing back, that the big obstruction now has been these culverts that goes under the railroads, which were mandated by the railroads, constructed and maintained by them over a waterway. At what point in time is somebody accountable to try to do something about it?
Well, I mean, the only property damage is when somebody brings a lawsuit and proves them in court. I mean, the landowners would have to do what they gotta do to do that. That would probably be a class action by the landowners if they've damaged their property values.
I mean, it just gets frustrating from the standpoint of trying to get some help from different entities to try to support people, and then when you come to the railroads, and everybody from the senators on down is that you can't deal with the railroads.
When you deal with the railroads, that's interstate commerce.
Well,
And that's they own the property. I mean, we've been dealing with this for years. The railroads, that's their property. They have super rights.
at some point in time, the railroads need to realize that they are a product of this country, and they need to come forward and assist people and not just ignore people. That's all. And I know I'm betting on something that probably can't be anything done about it, but I think it needs to be said, and a lot of people have talked about it, discussed about it, but I'm tired of going to begging the railroads to put a drainage culvert underneath something to protect people's houses so that people can go through and ambulances can go on the overpasses and things like that. And it's time people stand up and say, we've had enough of this. And, I'll be the first one to do it. And, hopefully somebody will listen, and somebody that's responsible from their standpoint will step forward and be responsible and do the right thing, and apologize. I know we can't do a whole lot, but
Well, Mr. Chairman, I will keep the lines of communication open between us and the Freshwater District.
we're not happy.
They
Let's
will
just
keep
say
me copied on their emails and let me know where everything stands. And that's really all I have in my report.
Thank you, Judge, appreciate it. Mr. Shakes, and I understand your frustration. I'm pretty sure the city understand that too. But once again, when you're talking about commerce, I have to go with the attorney. Somebody have to sue him first. Mr. Ronnie Fairchild, you have any? All right. Mr. Craig Anderson, West. Okay.
Craig, did you get a chance to go out at A-Bin in the back there?
Get back there on the volume of rep canal and do their work too.
Okay. Well, it stabilizes.
Yeah.
It gets scary back there, but I don't think it's going to come up any further.
No,
Okay.
come up to a certain level and that's it.
And it spreads out.
No, but because the canal was real high.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming out.
Since Mr. Shakes, Mr. Ronnie Fairchild, I forgot something too. On that St. James Assumption waterway outside the parish, I know we was working with the levee board out there in Pontchartrain. Have we ever set up another meeting, or they let us know anything?
No, I hadn't heard anything recently. They had got back with me.
Can you do a follow-up on that to see if we can get that, because that's also part of our drainage on that, once they leave our parish line.
Volume of rep goes to that.
Yeah.
The last thing we had on that, Mr. Chairman, was that St. James had an engineer go in and do a survey of what it would take to do their cleanup and cost-wise. And they had gathered all that information, and as soon as the holidays were through, they were going to put together another meeting and contact Mr. Fairchild and myself,
Okay.
so we could send it on the meeting.
All right. If
Okay. And I talked to Mr. Chenier during December. So
all right. If you
Yeah,
can
and
get
a
that,
big issue-
have that individual come here and basically give us an overview for our constituent on this side to understand the big picture of this, I appreciate that.
Let us have that meeting with them regarding their study, and then what do we get from that, then we can go there, okay?
That sounds good to me.
All right.
One big issue was wetlands.
Okay. All right. Okay. Item number 11, setting the date and time for next meeting, be February 7th. Mr. Shakes, what time? 5:15? 5:15, Ms. We're gonna go with 5:15. All right, item number 12,
Move to adjourn.
second. Meeting adjourned.